Hi, my name is Kelly McGreal, and I'm going to be presenting on functional life skills ideas for students with significant disabilities. And we're going to be placing a huge emphasis on implementation at home. Originally, this presentation was supposed to be on more functional life skills ideas that parents can implement during the summer, but now we are all finding ourselves at home a few months earlier than we were expecting. So, really, these are life skills ideas that could be implemented now. They could be implemented for all these kids that are currently not in school, but it also applies year round because just life skills are so important for every student, but especially our students with significant disabilities. Community based instruction is education instruction in a naturally occurring community environments, providing students with real life experiences. And again, we're emphasizing real life experiences. So things that aren't found in a math textbook, they're not found in a social studies textbook, but things that represent and role play real life experiences. This setting, community based instruction, is considered the self contained setting in schools and usually applies to students with significant disabilities. My classroom at school, I teach the community based classroom, and I have 8 students, most of which are diagnosed with autism, and I have several that are diagnosed with intellectual disabilities. But typically, in the school setting, in the community based classroom, you will find students with significant disabilities, and it is the most restrictive classroom. So they have full special education minutes and then their community based minutes, which is when I take them out into the community 3 times a month, and we do field trips to the mall, the zoo, again, places that give students real life experiences. And within my classroom, the community based classroom, life skills become a bigger focus than grade level core subject standards. So we're still doing math, social studies, science, we're still working hard, but we're kind of shifting the focus from remaining on grade level to developing life skills. Some benefits of community based instruction. Community based instruction develops and exercises social and behavioral skills. A lot of those skills are found on IEPs, so it actually helps us address their individual education goals. It helps students build self esteem and confidence, provides students an opportunity for inclusive interactions. A lot of times, every once in a while we'll bring other students on field trips with us, or we'll join other students on field trips, and so my students, who are again in the most restrictive classroom, get an opportunity to interact with their same age peers, maybe some workers at the grocery store, and inclusive interactions like that. Another benefit of community based instruction is that it develops work skills. I teach middle school, so right now we focus heavily on kind of leisurely life skills, but once my students reach high school, their whole program is about developing work skills so that when they leave the program, they'll be able to find employment. Community based instruction also promotes familiarity. I can't say that word. We're going to skip it, with the community. So it helps students kind of learn about their community. Maybe if they get lost one day, they know, oh, I went to that fire station down the block. Things like that that they can find within their own community. They know where they can get help. They know where they could go if they want to see a movie. Things like that. Okay. So again, this brings us to our topic. Community-based instruction was going to be during the summer, but now we're talking about during the stay-at-home order. So a lot of what I present are going to be things you can do at home. I'm going to kind of leave the zoo and the mall for the end of the presentation because we can't leave our house right now. So during the stay-at-home order, parents will need to be implementing these life skills instruction for their children. I really wish that I could come through the screen and teach all my kids right now, but we're not prepared for this. It is very difficult to teach life skills through a screen. It has not been working for me lately. It really needs to be hands-on. So we really need the parents to kind of include their kid in almost any household chore can become a life skill lesson, and I'll get into those in a minute. Also, students of all ability have more time to work on life skills. I feel that life skills are something that schools kind of leave out a lot of the times now. Those general ability students who are in the general education classes, they are so focused in their math textbook, their social studies textbook, science textbook, and those will all help them one day, but we all need life skills. I remember walking down the block thinking, to the grocery store, thinking that like $1 is going to get me a giant pizza or something. We all need money skills, time management, so this is something that all students can be working on right now. And the goal of this presentation is to provide parents with ideas for effective life skills activities for students of all abilities. Next slide, if it won't stick. Okay, the functional life skills topics that we are going to talk about today are self-care, money management, time management, self-management, home management, and interpersonal skills. And again, because of the stay-at-home order, all of the examples I'm going to give are going to be things that can be done at home. All right, our first topic, self-care. This is the definition that, for our purposes, for the examples that I am giving, we are going to use. Self-care focuses on maintaining oneself with an emphasis on hygiene. It focuses on improving health and teaching children to take an active role in protecting their own well-being. Okay, so a huge topic right now that can be done with your students at home is just working on washing your hands. I know probably before this all happened, I probably was not washing for 20 seconds. So we can all use reminders on how to make sure that we are scrubbing our hands correctly. You could print out something like this, or even just do it verbally, do it hand over hand, depending on your students' abilities, and just take them through the steps every time they go to the bathroom, every time they come in from playing outside. You know, you can kind of teach them when and how to be washing their hands properly. Okay, some other self-care activities that you can be using: picking out your own clothes, bathing independently, brushing your teeth, applying deodorant, styling your own hair, and cleaning up after themselves. So these are all things that kind of maintain their health and their well-being that as they grow older, we want them to be able to do independently. And by doing these independently, it will boost their confidence. Like, they will be proud to be brushing their teeth by themselves, or that they remembered to do it when they woke up and when they went to sleep. A lot of these can be put into routines, like you do one after another, right when you wake up in the morning and right before you go to bed. My computer keeps freezing between each slide, so I'm sorry. And then I gotta find the slide I'm on. Okay. Our next topic is gonna be money management, which is huge. This is what I spend probably the most of our in-class time on, because I just think money for every student is so important. I was a cashier in college, and you literally count the money they give you, type it in, and they tell you how, like the register tells you how much to get back. And I truly believe all of my students are capable of being cashiers, and that really is my goal for them. At least, you know, like I said, we're in middle school, so I don't focus on like employability skills as much, but I try to make sure that they go to high school, like they can already be a cashier. We know how to make money, we know how to count money, and we know how to write money. So money is a key function in life skills training. Money skills can lead to employment opportunities and money responsibility. I'm trying to go to the next slide, so of course it's sticking. The first thing, you could just have conversations with your students about the importance of saving. I use this image from the internet, you know, kind of talk to them how you're supposed to save 50%, I don't know, what is, give 10%, or give 20%, and then spend 30%. So just because you earned $100 for a job does not mean that you go and buy $99 shoes. You need to make sure you're saving for things in the future. One thing an activity you could do for this, you could get them to do some chores, get some work done around your house, and then give them an allowance and just kind of show them, even use these 3 jars and show them how you save money, or have them pick out a goal. Like, they know money buys toys, so they might want to find a toy they want. Maybe it's $20, maybe they earn $4 a week, and then you kind of have them work towards something. Kind of makes them understand that just because you took out the trash one time doesn't mean you get a $20 toy. It'll start to teach them the value of working and the value of money. Next slide. Okay. Money management activities, some other ones that you can do. There are a ton. I put such a big emphasis on money in my classroom. You could recognize coins by name and value. Simple. What is this? It's a penny. How much is a penny? 1 cent. You could count coins. You could count the same coins. Teach them how to count by ones for pennies, count by fives for nickels, tens for dimes, and then the most difficult one for my students at least, counting by 25 for quarters. And then you could, from there, just keep kind of going up depending on your child's abilities or how quickly they master each step. You can begin to count different coins, just throw some change on the table, have them count and give you an exact amount. You can use coins to make a given amount. You could give them stacks of coins and tell them that you want $1.25, and they have to come up with that much money. No matter how they do it, I always tell my kids too, you're really not wrong as long as it adds up right. If you like counting by fives, let's do it. As long as you're getting the right amount of money, that's all that matters. And then you can move up to exchanging money and making change. Start talking about how much money is in a dollar. If I gave you a quarter and I wanted nickels back, how many nickels would you give me? And so on. This next one is really important too. Understanding cost. Like I said earlier in the presentation, I really probably thought at one point when I was younger that $1 was going to give me anything I wanted in the grocery store, and that's just not true. So you're going to kind of start talking to your kids about all right, here's $10. Do you have enough to buy this toy? Let's say the toy is $11. They don't have enough money. They have to understand that if the number is bigger, that's how much money you need. You need at least $11, because then you got to start talking about tax too. You could work on setting a budget that kind of goes in the same understanding how much money you have versus how much money the things you want or need are. You could discuss income and bills, which kind of that first activity I talked about, the one where they could be getting an allowance, that kind of helps talk about that too, because they're making money. And then you could talk about how I don't think as a kid, probably not even through high school, did I understand that literally the water coming out of the sink costs money. Stuff like that, bills that maybe students don't understand are a part of daily life. And that's it for the money management activities. We're going to be moving on when my computer wants to go to the next slide. Okay, time management. Time management is another important one, and it's a big category because there's so much stuff you can talk about. When you think time management, you might just think clocks, especially reading analog clocks, which is a hard, important skill, but they are kind of, I don't know the last time I had to read an analog clock, they're kind of going away a little bit. But in time management, it could also be calendars, seasons, parts of the day. So again, time management is important for students to understand, and for managing yourself, planning activities, knowing their work week, the school week is Monday through Friday, knowing, the weekend means this. Depending on the age and ability of your child, there are many different skills. I just went through a few that can be worked on. So on the next page, I have a worksheet that can be used with your students. Again, when my computer feels like going to the next slide. But this worksheet works on parts of the day. So we're not really as focused on the analog clocks on the picture, but if your students at that ability, then by all means have them read the analog clock. But kind of just looking at the pictures and deciding what part of the day it is, because it's important to know the first picture, the moon's out, the stars are out, you're roasting fire. Do you think that's the morning or do you think that's the evening? Or night. So that would be night. Next page, you're super asleep, you're in the middle of your sleep, moon's still out. Do you think that's noon or midnight? And so on. So again, Understanding time management can mean a lot of different things. In this one, we're just talking about understanding your kind of your routines, morning, afternoon, evening, night, midnight, noon, all of those time vocabulary words. And then the next slide is going to show us just another list of activities that you can be doing at home to work on your life skills. Okay, additional time management activities. You could use an agenda or planner. So again, that goes with managing yourself, kind of understanding like, oh, like we're having dinner at grandma's on Friday. Let me write that in my planner. Write it on Friday. You know today's Wednesday, so you know that's 2 more days until you go over to grandma's house. You can complete timed assignments to kind of understand complete time assignments to understand, kind of like talking about the value of money, like understand the value of time, because I know like when I was younger, 5 minutes probably felt like an hour, or you kind of had a hard time understanding if your mom said, oh, we're leaving in a half hour, like how much time is that really? So you could just have them start, maybe doing 10 minutes of chores, set a timer, or it could be something fun too. It doesn't always have to be work. You could do 30 minutes of coloring time, set a timer, just so they start to understand, oh, 30 minutes feels like this amount of time, 5 minutes is shorter and it feels like this amount of time, and so on. You can discuss the days of the week, which is something that we do every day in our morning circle. That is a really big, important activity for students with significant disabilities, just understanding what day we're on, the order of the day, yesterday was, tomorrow will be, and so on. You can discuss the months of the year. You could just discuss the changing seasons. I know in Louisiana it feels like summer all the time, but I grew up in Chicago, so it was the opposite. It felt like winter all the time. So kids have different understandings of what the seasons are, but just kind of talking to them about when they change, what each one feels like. You can work on following a schedule. That's another good one. Like at 10 o'clock, that's a little late. How about we'll go 9 o'clock, wake up, 9:30, have breakfast, 10 o'clock, start your life skills practice, 11 o'clock, log on to Google Classroom, do your teacher's work, and stuff like that. Following a schedule, understanding at the different times is when you change to the different activities. And then, of course, you can work on reading a digital clock or an analog clock. Again, analog clocks, they're really important, but they are kind of fading. Again, I don't know the last time I've looked at an analog clock, which is kind of bad. But, so I would definitely focus on digital clock first. Like, if you're just working on, I had one kid, he was so cute. Every time you read it, he would say, like, 10 o'clock, 38. 9 o'clock, 18. So even just that, like, just reading it correctly, reading a digital clock is an important skill, too. 9, 18, and so on. Alright, next slide's going to take us to our next category. I think my laptop's overheating. Alright, self-management. Self-management can correlate with self-caring, is what that's supposed to say. However, self-management focuses on the management of oneself within the environment. So you can see the emojis at the bottom. It has a lot to do with managing your emotions, understanding other people's emotions. So for the first activity I have, just recognizing how you're feeling, giving them words to talk about. Depending on your students' abilities, you might need to use pictures, talk about how the kids feel in the picture, or if your child is a little bit higher ability, just having a conversation with them about what each emotion is, especially when they're going through it. If they're really mad, give them a minute, let them calm down, but then talk to them like, hey, like that feeling is mad. That is what you're feeling. Here's a picture of it. And then I was thinking too, having them recognize their feelings, especially during this time, it's stressful. I know if I was a kid, I would be really stressed about the stay-home order, the coronavirus. It would really be scaring me. So just having maybe like a diary at the end of the day that your kids could just circle how they feel each day, write how they feel, and that way they get better at practicing recognizing their own feelings. Because I know everybody kind of comes up with their own thing, but sometimes when you're mad, some people like to talk about it, some people like to go in their room and be alone. Like, it's important for our students with significant disabilities to recognize how they're feeling, but then also have routines for when they're feeling that way. Nobody wants to feel mad forever, and no one wants to feel sad forever, so we need to figure out what they like to do to fix those feelings when they're feeling them. Next slide is going to be some additional self-management activities. They're going to want to be working on identifying healthy and unhealthy foods, exercising regularly, just taking a walk around the block with them, identifying feelings and emotions in others. So again, the first slide was about themselves, but it's important for them to recognize those emotions in other people too. Like if dad's mad, maybe dad's someone that likes to be alone for 10 minutes, so they need to be able to understand, give him a few minutes. And that's going to be an important life skill when they're working too. My manager is mad and needs to be alone for a few minutes. I probably shouldn't go ask them something at the moment. Just being able to recognize how other people are feeling. Expressing personal preferences, playing independently, tying their own shoes, goal setting. So a lot of these can tie in together. And again, a lot of these are things that are done at home all the time anyway, just making sure you're having the extra conversation about it. But goal setting can tie in with the money management one, just setting that goal of, I want this toy. This is how much it is, so I need to work X amount to get that toy. Goal setting. Also using if-then awards, so same thing, if I help my mom do the dishes, then I can play with my toys, or then I can color. Just making sure they understand that for the most part, if you want to do something leisurely, you usually have to do some type of work first. So if I do this work, then I get to do what I want. All right, our next category is going to load in a second. All right, home management. This one is my absolute favorite to work on at school. This is really moral of the story, any home chore they can do on their own is going to do so much to build their self-confidence and self-esteem. So home management skills include day-to-day activities that are commonly found in the home. They help prepare children for independence and employment. Everyone can benefit from increased home management skills. Yeah, everyone. I went to college not being able to make a grilled cheese. Everyone can benefit from home management skills. Okay, sorting laundry. This can be done, I have a picture of a worksheet here, but it can be done in real life. I don't really sort my laundry anymore, but just being able to differentiate between light, medium, and dark colors. It can be found on worksheets too if you also don't really separate clothes that much anymore. So just having them either on the worksheet or in your separate bins, be able to understand this is a black leather jacket that should go in the dark bin. This is a white t-shirt that should go in the light bin, and so on. So that's just helping them differentiate between colors while also performing a household activity. Some additional home management, and again, there are so many. It's my favorite one. There are so many you could do at home. Just having them help you with anything around the house will make them feel so independent, and it will help them with their independence and responsibility. So additional ones are loading and unloading the dishwasher, cleaning out the refrigerator, preparing meals. Some of the simple meals that we do during class all the time, and my students love it, is we make mac and cheese and hot dogs, sandwiches, anything. Again, you might want to supervise, but anything that they love, they would love to eat, they would love to help make. They can make a grocery list, use the microwave, fold laundry, clean the bathroom, set the table, wash the car, feed pets. And again, a lot of this does sound like chores, so kind of going back to the self-management one, if you wanted to tie in setting a goal, that way they are rewarded for doing all the chores in the house. But it just does so much for independence. This is stuff that, as adults, humans, we do this every day, so there's something that our students need to learn. All right, next slide is going to be, I believe, our last topic. We're going to be talking about interpersonal skills, and that is talking with others in day-to-day settings. It can also involve talking with employees at grocery stores, restaurants, movie theaters, anything where the child is speaking to either another peer or an adult, especially in any type of setting. It would be interpersonal skills. So for our main activity that I think would be really awesome to do at home is you can play restaurant. I love taking my students. Every field trip ends with us eating somewhere. We got to feed everybody. But I love when they order for themselves. They get to look at the menu, they choose what they want, and they place their order with this stranger, this adult that is the waiter or waitress. And it just helps with their interpersonal skills so much because they're able to, in full sentences or with pictures, depending on your student's abilities, ask for what they want. So you can do this at home, just practicing, give them a little menu of what's for dinner and have them practice ordering, using their manners. Can I please have this? And thank you. Oh, can I get a refill? Anything like that where they need to ask for what they want. Again, with pictures or with words, depending on our abilities. But it would just do a lot to work on their interpersonal skills. We're going to go through the list of additional interpersonal skills activities we can use. But again, it's all talking with people, asking a grocery store worker for help. Here we go. Making eye contact with others, following simple directions, taking turns with others, resolving conflicts with adult help. Maybe if your child has siblings at home and they get in a little fight, it would be helpful for the adult to step in, but still have the children talk through resolving a conflict. That would be working on interpersonal skills. Shaking hands, using manners like please and thank you, requesting items with full sentences, and listening to others. Okay, and then this last few slides, this one is about things we could do hopefully when the stay-at-home order is over. This is what, as middle schoolers, we do a lot of our field trips to these places, kind of just again working on life skills. We're not focused as much on employability yet, so we go to places like the grocery store, the mall, the zoo, the park, the fire station, the police station, restaurants, movie theater, bank, using public transport the buses in Baton Rouge and stuff like that. And so again, this helps students kind of get involved in their community. They know where they can go for help, like the fire and police stations. They know if they're hungry, they could go to these restaurants. Maybe they find a new restaurant they like. I know my students love KFC, but we brought them to Red Robin, and that's their new favorite. So it's cool to give them new experiences. So this is something parents can do over the summer, hopefully when the stay-at-home order is lifted. Trying to load the next slide. Alright, and in conclusion, again, the goal of life skills are to help our children gain independence, they gain responsibility, they gain skills that they can use in the real world, real life experiences when they grow up. Any household chore or a quick errand can become a life skills lesson as long as you kind of just talk with your child about it afterwards. Just kind of make it stick a little bit more by explaining that was a good job, saying thank you to the waitress, it's important to do that, things like that. Then also by involving your child in household responsibilities and their own self-care, they are developing employability skills. By the time our students with significant disabilities get to high school, that is the main focus. And again, in middle school, I'm focusing more on life skills, like taking care of yourself, enjoying the community, understanding the community. But in high school, it really is all about employability, so that our students can have these independent jobs where they make money, they feel rewarded, they feel independent, they're responsible. And so a lot of these activities that I've given you that can be done at home during the stay-at-home order, those will also help with employability skills. Alright, I think it's the last slide. My laptop is like overheating. Okay. And then lastly, your turn. I want my parents to try to implement a few of these quick life skills lessons and then let me know how it goes in the follow up. We will talk about how you felt it went. I want to know how like proud your child was right away. I'm telling you, like the second they finish these activities, they're going to be so excited and really, really proud of themselves. And then again, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me now or during the follow-up. If maybe something didn't go right, maybe like they were not interested in brushing their teeth at all, because I know a lot of these are chores. So you might have to kind of trick some kids into doing it by making it seem real fun, or again using those rewards. Kids love food. I give away so many chips during my class, so you might need to use a little bit more of a reward system if you're having a hard time getting your child to voluntarily perform all these chores. But again, they're chores for a reason. They're things that all humans, as we grow up, we need to learn how to do. So by practicing them with adult supervision, our children are going to just blossom and be so independent, so proud of themselves, so confident. There are just so many benefits. I can't stop listing them. But that is it. Thank you for your time. And again, please implement some of these and let me know how it goes. Thank you.